Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Firelink Podcast, episode number 41 for Wednesday, October 16th, 2024. I'm Marty Sleva, joined by Casey Wosu, Nick Calandra, and of course, producer Eric. And we are thrilled to have you here on what I just told the guys before we started is a race against the clock, because I took a bunch of cold medicine and I thought I took the AM one, but I took the PM one. So we're going to see if I manage to survive to the end before falling asleep. But we have a wonderful show for you today. A couple of interesting news bits to touch on, including the big hack / data leak from the Pokemon company and Game Freak. A bunch of shit leaked. We're not going to go into the exact specifics, but more of just like, this is one of the biggest and most egregious hacks and leaks like this in gaming history. So talking a little bit about that. A bunch of random news from different publishers, including Bandai Namco canceling some projects, the Hitman developer IO Interactive publishing a big game, and a news story we missed out on last week, which was Alien Isolation 2 being confirmed, which I think at least two of us are excited for. I don't know if Casey's excited for it, but I think
Casey hated it when he streamed it. It was upsetting to watch him hate it.
It's just he hated it because it's too long. He understands it's too long.
Bad game. I like it.
And then we'll talk about stuff we've been playing. And of course, our main topic this week, in light of massive news, we've all been digging into Steam Nextfest demos. We're going to have a video on that sometime next week, probably. But we also just wanted to chat about how, while going through these games, it is becoming more and more apparent that so many of them are falling into a handful of specific genre types that are generally modeled after a game that was big this year, a few years ago, and having to wade through a lot of those types and a lot of those clones can sometimes be a bit tiring. So just chatting about that current state of, we talk a lot about the trend chasing in AAA games, but the indie space is definitely not immune to that as well. So talking about that, including maybe some trends we'd like to see chased. We need more, you know what? Until about an hour ago, I would have said I want more pinball games that are like pinball but something else, because that game Yoku's Island Express was sick as hell, and Dogma was sick as hell, which was the GameCube pinball game where you screamed into the microphone to control your general and your large ball. But then we played a Pinballvania on Achi Chai's, and I was like, this isn't very good. I don't want to play.
Another game you're excited for.
I need to stop doing this. I need to do a modicum of research before I buy a game. I need a me before me. I need a me who buys games and plays games to tell me if I should buy them. Because I don't have a me is the problem.
You gotta start reading user reviews, man.
You don't read reviews.
You know what I need? The substance. I need to take the substance so I can get another version of me who can spend the money and play those games. Back to the substance. I'm not here to talk about the substance, guys. I know everyone wants to talk about the substance, but Darren and I already talked about the substance for a long time.
Go check it out over on the Rewind podcast.
Is that the movie with Demi Moore in it?
It is. And the substance. Let me tell you, she takes the substance, stuff doesn't go well. I'm not going to spoil it. Stuff doesn't go well. You know, wait, I was going to go to the Pokemon thing. You know what I want to know? How are you guys doing?
I don't know. You said that you took a bunch of cold medicine and you might knock out. Like, I'm not feeling great either.
You just sounded like you had a cold right there.
Did I?
You're going to rally. You're going to rally for us.
Shit.
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm together by a string, but I'm going to push through for the fans, because I know you guys need not a full-on chaotic Firelink, but a regular chaotic Firelink.
I've been listening to this anime podcast called Get Animated, which is by the hosts of a video game podcast called Get Played. I don't care about their video game podcast. I don't listen to game podcasts. I'm on game podcasts. I don't need to hear what people say.
Sure.
Maybe if I did listen to video game podcasts, I wouldn't have that problem of buying games. I'm starting to see a problem. But I like their anime podcast because they do like watch-alongs where it'll be like, all right, we're watching Blue Lock, and we're going to do like an hour-long discussion on every 2 episodes. And so that's what I'd watch 2 episodes and then I'd listen. I'd watch 2 episodes and listen. I got to an episode where one of the hosts had a cold, and it was so startling to me to be like, that's not what you sound like. You have a cold. And now I'm worried everyone feels like that hearing me and you. They're going to be like, the boys don't have the energy.
I mean, you sound the same to me. I don't know what I sound like right now.
That's my secret, Cap.
That's what I heard this morning. Like, it came in the weekly Wednesday meeting that we have, and I kept hearing sniffling. I'm like, who's sniffling?
It was me.
It was Marty.
It was me. I'm not going to sniffle during podcasts, but you know what? In a meeting where we don't have cams on, I can blame it on anyone.
You weren't sniffling.
I can blame it on either Jesse. That was definitely a Jesse sneeze. I don't know which
Sneal.
Sneal. I was going to say a sneeze and a I don't know what I was going to say. Fucking oh my god! How is that thing already hitting me? That's the thing. This cold medicine.
We're going down the dark path on this podcast. Marty's brain is going void.
I got hacked just like the Pokemon. Before we chat about the Pokemon hack leak, Fatcock with a $2 dono. Thank you so much, Fatcock. And remember, we appreciate all of your donos, your super chats, your memberships over on YouTube, your patronage. It helps fund AM and PM medicine for us, which is nice. And remember, take the AM medicine and not the PM medicine. Fatcock, thank you so much. So Nick is leaving Twitter again.
I think everybody's leaving because they changed the block function today. So now if you block somebody, it doesn't block them anymore. So they can just read your account and do exactly what they're already doing on alts. So I think.
What does that mean? Wait, it blocks them, but it doesn't block them?
Yeah, they can still read your tweets. They just can't interact with you. So I'm like, this is just. Everybody needs to leave Twitter at this point.
Like if you put a barricade in front of an angry mob, but it's made of glass.
It's more like putting up a shower curtain and then just making it see through.
Okay, I can get behind this. No, I can't get behind this. Democracy is dying in daylight.
And also like just all the stuff he supports. I'm like, I don't really feel comfortable being on that platform these days, knowing where the money's going.
Great, the star of Iron Man 2, the hero of the MCU. It's really weird to go back and watch Iron Man 2 and see him pop up. It's like a fucking.
Is he in that movie?
Yeah, they go to like a party at the race, and like Tony Stark like.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that either. They should digitally remove him.
Yeah, like they should put like Watto or Jabba in there. Like get George Lucas on
Yes.
They should type in Elon Musk AI and see what it comes up with.
Oh no.
It's just a blob.
There you go. So that's been your pop culture update for movies that came out in 2010. So you're welcome.
God, that is the first imagery.
Jumping into our first topic, over the weekend, the Pokemon developer Game Freak were victims of a massive data leak / possible hack. Details are still kind of coming out about it, but Game Freak said in a statement that the leak was a result of, quote, unauthorized access to our servers by a third party. And the leak included, which really fucking sucked, just personal info on employees, past and present. I was going to say past, present, and future. It'd be crazy if it was info on future employees.
What kind of hackers are these?
They plan out their hirings in advance.
Time leak. But it also included stuff like old prototypes of earlier Pokemon games, news about upcoming projects, source code of all Pokemon games, insane lore bits about the creation of the universe, and seemingly one dude at the company who kept being like, yeah, but can we talk about how in the past Pokemon and humans used to mate? Which I know the leak is bad. That part is very funny.
That dude has got to be trolling, right? Like that dude is he's like the office crack up, and he's just that's his thing. Everyone knows, right.
You have to take a note in every meeting, and no idea is a bad idea, including who wants to talk about stuff. So yeah, pretty nuts. We're not going to go into it. Because that's, I don't know. Covering leaks is weird like that. Like there's been the GTA leaks in the past. There's been the Last of Us leaks, the big Spider-Man thing last year. And I just think it kind of fucking sucks. And also, I'm afraid of Nintendo.
You know. The conspiracy brain in me says between the PlayStation outage, the Xbox outage, and that somebody's been attacking all the major companies.
What do you mean outage?
PlayStation had a big.
PlayStation had its biggest outage. Yeah, PlayStation had its biggest outage since 2011. The 2011 outage.
Like literally, like PSN was down.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Sorry,
I think it was only. I think it was like only 8 hours, but I don't remember. I was listening to Last Stand's podcast about it, and they were kind of complaining like, "This is such a big deal." Like PlayStation was down for 8 hours, guys. It's okay. I think you'll be okay.
It sucks when it's like I own a game, but it won't let me play it because it's like verified on the internet. Yeah, Eric, you brought the fact that the Internet Archive got fucking attacked.
Yeah.
That should be whoever attacks the Internet Archive. That's like attacking like fucking Mother Teresa. Like they should be get the fucking guillotines out for that person. The Internet Archive is wonderful.
That's where all my work is. Thanks, corporate media.
Thanks, the Internet Archive. But yeah, just one of those kind of crazy things. There's not, I don't know, there's not that much to say about it. Like, I just think this is sort of that this exists in that pantheon of massive leaks. I mean, Casey, you remember like Smash rosters used to leak. I think all of Smash, Wii U and 3DS. I remember that shit leaking early and people being like, "That's not true. Like, this has to be fake." And it'd be like character select screens with like a ton of unannounced characters.
Yeah, like I actively stayed away from that because like this was the reason why Sakurai moved away from like a big single player thing for so long, is because he didn't like that the cutscenes, like which he thought was like the reward for like getting through like the different sections. He didn't like that those could just go out to anyone without having to earn them. So the fact that like
I remember that
they moved that into
just
the marketing for new characters, and it's been super successful. So like to spoil that even is like, what are you guys doing? Like he's just gonna stop making Smash games.
Yeah, it always pisses me off when like
guillotine line.
Yeah, there you go. It always pisses me off when like the morning of a conference someone leaks everything, and I'm like, well, it's the conference. Like, there's an Xbox showcase thingy, like a third-party Xbox showcase tomorrow at noon. We're going to be streaming Resident Evil during that time, so we will not be live streaming it. But it's one of those, like, I don't know. I just like watching those. Like, what's the point of like an hour earlier being like, oh, by the way, here's a trailer for the thing that they're going to show? Like,
no, hey, you can get around that. The thing I learned the past few months to get off social media.
You know, the internet. Yes, that's good.
But I did I was actually just thinking about Pokemon the other day because we haven't heard really anything about those new games that are coming. Not that I don't know if there was anything in the leaks about it, and I don't want to know, but definitely feel like those are going to be
Pokemon Legends ZA is I believe the name of the game that was announced. That's like
that was
Arceus.
That was known ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my without even going into the leak stuff, they said it was 2025, and it seemed like that was like a perfect
Switch to
cross-gen game. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna just abandon the Switch one.
They should.
Probably should, because it already didn't
remember what happened
well
with the last one.
Yeah, but if they could still sell that version,
that's right. We could still sell poop.
We still sell poop. My gut says that the next real Pokemon game, Gen 10, which I still think is coming in 2026, which will be the 30th anniversary, of Pokemon as a thing. I think that'll be like a Switch 2 proper thing. So says I. It's me, the eye of so says I.
Did either of you watch that new Pokemon show on Netflix?
The Pokemon Resort one? Yeah, Pokemon Concierge?
No, that's like the puppet thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like stop motion.
Yeah, there's like a new animated one, right?
Oh no, I don't care about that.
I don't know.
Horizons or something. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's not new. That came out a while ago. Yeah,
that's just like post Ash stuff, right? Like Ash. Yeah, Ash died, and then
Ash died.
He won the Pokemon Championship, and he fucking died.
He retired or something.
Yeah, I don't know, because I don't know who most of those Pokemon are, so I don't like them. I don't trust Pokemon I don't know. Pokemon Concierge is delightful, though. I highly recommend that to anyone. Before we move on to our next topic, couple super chats. Sussy Guru, thank you so much. Been a member for 6 months. Appreciate you, Sussy Guru. What are you doing, Step Typhosion?
What? I saw that trending. What is that? Is that just?
Well, what are you doing, Step Brother? Is a porno.
No, I know that. I know that. What the fuck is Typhosion? Actually,
it's Pokemon. It's Pokemon Eric's showing right now. It's like the level 3 of one of those Chikorritas or something.
But why has it been turned into a porn meme?
Because of the thing Marty said with the guy trying to revisit the Pokemon mating with humans, is my guess.
I also like that, Eric, it seems like you stretched the image, and he just looks sinister in that image. Really sinister.
There was a...
Yeah.
All right. Well.
And then Jewel
not
Rao,
Googling that one.
Not Googling that one. Jewel Rao, thank you so much for a €10 donation. Really love the podcast, guys. And Nick, do you think Dragon Age can get good sales even with the fan backlash? P.S. Kinutsugami is on sale. Please buy it. I want more games like these.
Ooh.
Wait, talk about Kinutsugami really quick before we talk about Dragon Age. That game fucking rules. I highly recommend it to people. And it's got that Okami DNA in it. And if you want that Okami DNA all over you, Jesus, buy this game. If you want that wolf DNA all over you, buy this game. Nick, please talk about Dragon Age.
You and cold medicine today. You're just
I don't know what's happening.
all over.
I don't know what's happening. We're not live, right? We can just
you already fell asleep.
Eric can edit on the fly.
We can take it from the top.
Dragon Age. Yeah, I don't know. They haven't really
backlash. Please explain, because I'm
well.
Loop on this.
There was backlash to the reveal trailer because it was like the very, I guess, Fortnite-y, that first reveal trailer. But as soon as they started releasing gameplay trailers, people were more. It was at the Xbox showcase. If you remember at the Xbox showcase, it was like just those character vignettes, and it was really stylish and kind of weird.
Very like magenta-y.
Yeah,
and like even like the art. I understood. It looked like almost I don't want to say bland, but it just looked like one of those like, oh, this looks like a lot of other like
fantasy
trendy things right now, as opposed to Dragon Age. And that was just the first look at it. I think everything since then has been pretty positive. There was like a big old hands-on preview recently that people seem to really enjoy, right?
Yeah, all the previews have been really positive on it. I mean, I don't think they've released any sales numbers. I think it's going to do fine. But I mean, like, to be fair though, like, I don't think the controversy really has much to do with it. I think BioWare just has to earn people's trust back.
Sure. Yeah.
Between Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda and everything. So I think.
Oh, and Jules, and one of the other pieces of backlash was it seemed really more action oriented than like a hardcore RPG, like a Baldur's Gate-ish thing.
Yeah. But I mean, like, Dragon Age has always kind of been the only one that was ever really tactical was Dragon Age Origins on PC. Even on console, it was simplified. And then two basically went the action route. 3 was even more action route, and now they're finally just going all in on the action route.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's EA, their mainstream publisher, going for mainstream appeal. But I guess Baldur's Gate 3 could also be mainstream appeal. I don't really know. I don't know. It's a weird one. It's like in that weird zone. Is like Dragon Age still relevant in 2024? Is it just another fantasy action RPG at this point with the Dragon Age name? I don't know. I think it just comes down to reviews and word of mouth for this one to really take off.
Yeah, one thing it has going for it is there's not a lot in that lane this fall. The last thing that was probably close to that lane was Metaphor ReFantazio, which came out and feels very different than Dragon Age. And Metaphor ReFantazio, we know, sold well. It was the quickest game to hit 1 million in Atlas history, which is good.
Those don't feel like they're in the same lane at all to me. Like, this seems like, to me at least, from what I can remember, like Dragon's Dogma might be the last big fantasy thing.
I was just trying to name anything this fall that was like an RPG, a fantasy RPG.
Which is surprising because there's still like 1 billion of them out there.
I'm
so sick of these.
This fall, like, you know, the big games we have left that haven't come out are stuff like Call of Duty, and then
Stalker 2.
Stalker 2, Indiana Jones, which I still think might get delayed, but we'll see. Slitterhead, obviously, all the Slitterheads out there. Rise Up, the Brothership.
Did you get hands on with that game at all yet? No.
No, you guys could have.
We could have.
You could have been my proxies.
I mean,
there wasn't any room.
It didn't look good.
I wouldn't ask.
It didn't have to look good.
Like, that's why I didn't want to waste the time, because like it really didn't look good from what I saw.
All right, fucking Steve Jobs. I didn't realize your time's worth so much money. You can't bend down to pick up a Slitterhead without losing your company's money.
I'm excited for Dragon Age. You know, like, who cares about the social media woke DEI stuff? Blah 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 about that.
Oh no, the game's woke.
Oh no, you mean BioWare has made woke games their entire time?
No!
Oh my god, I wish everyone would just ignore that.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't talk about it ever again.
I assume that's the controversy they were talking about. That's why I mentioned it, because that's been social media. But who gives a shit? I don't think it's going to be a 10 million seller, but let's see. I would say 2.5 to 3.
What game is this in the corner? Is this a Dragon?
I think that's Dragon's
Dogma. Shout out to Dragon's Dogma. Shout out to Dogma as well. Kevin Smith's Dogma. Second time I'm bringing it up today.
Yeah, it's coming back. You said
that's the one game this year that when you started it, you're like, this is going to win a bunch of awards, and then you get to the second area of the game, you're like, this is boring.
Not the opposite. I started. It was like, oh no, this is not what I thought it was. And it was like, no, it's not that bad. It's okay. But like, I was so hyped for Dragon's Dogma, and like, it kind of disappointed me.
There just wasn't enough monsters.
That's true.
Not enough dragons. Too much.
He also played funky.
Yeah, played funky. I like
that. Lume is freaking out over Dragon Age Inquisition and Baldur's Gate 3 being indie. We're not saying they're indie. Somebody send the super chat.
No one said indie.
Yeah, we haven't got to the indie discussion yet.
I don't know where that came from.
Wait, what was? No one said indie.
I don't know.
I didn't say indie.
Great derail. We did it.
Oh, indie as in no publisher. Well, Dragon's Dogma and Dragon's Age both have their publishers.
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate is technically indie, but indie doesn't mean anything anymore because words are dumb. Ryan Petron with a $5 dono. Thank you so much, Ryan. Leaving this chat for when I watch the VOD at 2 a.m. Uh-oh.
Nice.
A little late night VODing. Casey, have you gotten much time with Sparking Zero? What do you think of the gameplay?
At PAX, I got a little bit of time with Sparking Zero. I hated it.
Wow.
I'm sorry. But like, do not use that as a bar for your enjoyment. Like, if you are a Dragon Ball Z fan, especially of the Budokai formula, it's probably doing everything you want it to do. I hate that formula now. So that is a me thing. It is not, a characterization of the game being bad at what it wants to do. It does it great, I assume, because folks are eating it up. I just don't like it.
It had the highest player count of any fighting game ever on Steam.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z is super popular. None of those people play video games, though.
This is a video game. What?
Yeah, but they bought it because they like the anime, not because they like.
I thought you were going to be like, this doesn't count. Like Farmville and Dragon Ball fighting games don't count as video games. Wordle, Farmville, and
Dragon Ball Fighters is a proper fighting game with the Dragon Ball Z IP. Sparking Zero is a glorified sort of cutscene machine in my mind.
Oh no!
But that's just me.
That's just a theory.
He's getting clipped and roasted later.
Did you watch the first episode of Dragon Ball Daima?
Daima, no, I have not started that yet. You said there were two that came out anyway, right? Like,
yeah, I think it just premiered like a few days ago. So
I haven't even watched any of Super. Like, I've only seen bits and pieces.
I haven't seen any GT.
You shouldn't.
I haven't seen any Dragon Ball.
You shouldn't see any of GT. GT is really effing bad.
No, I watched a Super movie. I went to the theater and saw a movie.
The one with Gohan. Okay, yeah. Matter of fact, I watched the first Super movie, the one with Frieza coming back and Broly being reintroduced. That was pretty fun.
Yeah. Which Super movie did you watch?
I don't think I've ever watched an episode of Dragon Ball in my life.
Oh, you don't even know who Goku is. Piccolo?
Was it on Cartoon Network before?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Okay, so I probably tuned into it at some point when I don't know what the fuck this is. When I was probably 6 years old. And then put on the Boondock Saints and I was like, I don't know what's going on here. But
as a 6-year-old,
I thought you were going to say the Boondocks, and then you said the Boondock Saints, and I was like, whoa, wasn't expecting.
Whichever one was on Adult Swim, I would turn it on I would turn on.
They were probably both on Adult Swim.
8:00 at night and be like, I don't know what I'm watching here.
Does Dragon Ball Z Sparkling good? Does it got story mode? Like a fun story mode?
Probably. It's probably the same effing story that it always has, which is just the beginning of Goku showing up with Gohan, and then I guess now they have more stuff with Super, where they enter the tournament of power or whatever, and he fights a fucking bald alien, and he does he fucking surfs on a Kamehameha wave. I don't know what the hell's going on in Dragon Ball Z anymore.
People are saying I missed out on my childhood. I was watching good shows like Courage, a Cowardly Dog.
That is a great show, sir.
It is a great show. It's an amazing show.
Bunch of babies. Fat Card with another $5 dono. Thank you so much. Casey has a different opinion than me.
Sorry, I'll try harder, guys.
So Dragon Ball Sparking has sold very well. It's already sold 3 million copies, which is good for publisher Bandai Namco, because between
you would think.
Yeah, between Elden Ring and this, it seems like they got a couple of hits on their hands. However, it turns out they also have a lot of non-hits on their hands, which resulted in reports that they have been quietly cutting workforce in a Japanese way, which is that they shift people around to them working in a room alone on non-projects until they quit out of shame.
Yeah.
Which put me in a blank room and tell me to not do anything and keep paying me, and I will be a lifer.
Yeah, that's cultural differences.
I will never leave that company. It will be the greatest job I ever have. But also resulted in them canceling some projects, some unannounced projects, some projects related to stuff like One Piece and Naruto, even a project that they was supposedly working alongside Nintendo with. Bandai Namco is an interesting publisher that we don't talk about that much.
Killed that Blue Protocol MMO not too long ago.
Right.
No,
that was highly anticipated. There
was a big budget behind that.
Yeah, and Namco's an interesting company because we don't talk about them the same way we talk about Capcom or Square or even Konami. It doesn't feel like they have like an identity other than they make a lot of anime games and they really lucked out by publishing Dark Souls.
I was going to say they actually remind me a lot of Square Enix.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just because like the breadth of stuff they release that doesn't sell well, and then they have a few major hits every now and again, and that feels exactly like Square Enix to me. Like both of those publishers kind of like lost. I guess not. Maybe Square Enix didn't lose what made it special. I guess they just released too much. And Namco Bandai, like if you actually look through their publishing lineup, you'd be surprised at like the amount of games they've actually released over the last 5 years.
That's what I'm curious about, right? Because the only stuff that I have in memory are the kind of successes, like Elden Ring, like all this anime stuff that does sell because the anime fans basically move those products. What are their flops that kind of prompted this mass layoff thing?
I think it's just a ton of like random ass anime games.
Yeah,
like, they did Scarlet Nexus, Code Vein, like stuff that
people didn't like Code Vein.
They just
I thought that sold well.
They just released a Sword Art Online game that's actually, I think it's like a multiplayer RPG. $60, got less than 1,500 reviews on Steam. This One Piece Bounty Rush, free to play. Gundam Breaker 4. It doesn't have a crazy amount of reviews either. I don't think.
I think it's just Sandland. A lot of these things are kind of Sandland felt like no one talked about Sandland.
That's true. I definitely didn't.
Yeah, I don't. I was like taken aback when you just compared them to Square, but I guess modern Square makes sense because modern Square has their massive Final Fantasies and then a lot of smaller games that tend to be more niche. The thing about Bandai Namco is they just don't. Like their glory day felt like it was Pac-Man. Like that was when they were at the height of. That was when Namco was at the height of things.
They co-developed Smash with HAL Laboratory.
That's true. They do co-develop Smash. That better not be the game that was canceled. Sakurai's like, I'm no longer making YouTube videos.
I feel like, Bandai Namco, which we keep saying Namco Bandai, it's Bandai Namco. If we have to remember, they flipped their name around. Their publishing lineup, when you look at it, is just kind of weird. Like they were publishing the supermassive horror games, the anthology series. I don't think that sold well.
I think it almost tried to do the Square Enix thing of like, oh, let's get some projects with Western developers and see if any of them stick. And
I think
they published Little Nightmares, right? Little Nightmares.
Yeah, they published Little Nightmares. I'm just looking through their lineup here. Like the One Piece Odyssey game, which reviewed pretty well, doesn't look like it sold great.
That's surprising to me, honestly.
So like their biggest sellers are, Armored Core. I think the My Hero games have sold pretty well. But yeah, like all the anime based games have like been relatively hit or miss between Naruto, Sandland, Sword Art. I don't know.
It just feels like they never really break into like the conversation aside from the Dragon Ball games and the FromSoft games. Like their games don't really ever break into the conversation. Like I don't see a bunch of folks, ever chatting about it. So it'll be curious to see what. Obviously, they're a big company that has fingers in a lot of different pies. In animation and in a lot of different things in Japan proper. So I guess it did Tekken earlier this year. Which also doesn't.
Oh yeah,
we're talking about Tekken, right? Like
people are talking about Tekken. Well, at least
on
my timeline is people talking about Tekken. So I don't know about everybody else.
My timeline, people are just talking about Aaron Rodgers and whether or not he believes in vaccines. Still, got a weird timeline.
Not really on the level like people still talk about Street Fighter though. But I guess Tekken was kind of always behind Street Fighter. Yeah.
I mean, where it belongs, yes.
Yeah.
I feel like that talk. I feel like that talk has been pretty even from my perspective, but who knows? What do I know? I'm sleepy.
Rude. The second of three stories in this sort of little grab bag I wanted to just touch on is that the Hitman developer IO Interactive, who is now working on a James Bond game, they launched their own publishing side. From that they said they want to take some of the money that they've made from Hitman and invest it in publishing other games. And the first game is going to be the inaugural game from Build a Rocket Boy, Mind's Eye, which is the game that is being helmed by former GTA producer Leslie Benzies. And this is a big kind of AAA. This game's like a big story-driven action thriller kind of thing. And they're going to be publishing a game that has the pedigree of from one of the minds of GTA behind it, which is interesting. There's a couple of these games from former GTA folks that have sort of sprouted up, and I'm very curious to see if any of them will click as hard as GTA does. I mean, nothing will click as hard as GTA does when it comes out in a few years, but
I feel like we've talked about this before. Like no spin-off sect ever matches the first thing that gave them all the acclaim.
Yeah.
When it's that big.
Yeah. But interesting that, again, I think it's cool that a company like IO, who made so much money with Hitman and enough to like buy their freedom from being under Square Enix, which I think is so cool, are able to do this and then able to, like, while developing their own game, the Bond game, kind of pay it forward and help out other games. Granted, it's not like they're helping out some struggling in like this.
Yeah, it was like everywhere has like game. Yeah, well, didn't everywhere get like $100 million investment?
Yeah, so it's not. Yeah, by no means is it like really helping the struggling little guy. But,
we want some money out of that game.
Yeah, also almost seems like they might share a similar spite for former corporate leadership. Like that might be the shared DNA between them. Is like, let's throw this up as a big fuck you to our old bosses.
Where did that funding come from then? Like, was it IO that is putting the money into to build a robot?
I think
build a robot
funding came a while ago.
Yeah,
okay.
Build a Rocket Boy got massive funding like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah,
maybe even longer. So if they're bringing a publisher on
like
board,
from where is my question? Like
it was during COVID, during all the investor craze. And
yeah,
you say that I was one of the head producers at Rockstar. You're getting money.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. All right.
And they're working on that game, but also their other game is it's a game creation platform called Everywhere.
Yeah, that I remember.
Yeah, and I think that one. I think I just saw it. I think it's in early access over on Epic Games Store, and it's been there for a while. I just logged into the Epic Games Store the other day for something, and I saw it in there.
Sure. Yeah, it's it'll be interesting to see if I don't know if this is able to scratch. I don't know. It seems like anytime anyone tries to come for GTA's crown, which this isn't necessarily what this game is trying to do, but it kind of feels like it's what it's trying to do. Anytime that happens, I think it's very funny.
When they described it, they were going for a cinematic action game, not a GTA clone.
Yeah, so we'll see. The last story, Nick, you wanted to bring up the 10th anniversary of Alien Isolation came last week, and they announced a sequel.
Yeah, that was a shock. Like I thought it was just a troll account when I saw
it was Eric tricking you during a stream.
Somebody. No, I mean it's just I literally just logged on to Twitter and I just saw like, oh hey, we're doing an Alien Isolation sequel. I was like, what? Who? Where? Why? How? I guess Creative Assembly decided they wanted some money instead of no money when they canceled Hyenas. Because it was $100 million loss on that. The games as a service game.
Yeah, that is.
So
that was a a blunder.
Yeah, and I also the Total War series is still big, but it's not doing well when they're not releasing like the mainstream games. So either the Total War Warhammer games or whatever else. They've been doing like a bunch of these little spin-off anthology games that they sell okay, but they're not. Eric, I can hear you typing.
I can't hear anything.
I heard him typing. I still hear him typing.
Okay, I hear that now. He said it's not me.
Who's
I don't know who that is. I don't know where that came from.
I don't know. That's weird. Somebody on the chat is typing and we can hear it from here. Yeah, I lost my train of thought because of the typing. What was I saying?
You were talking about how Alien Isolation is your best friend, and
that's true. I mean, it is my best friend, and everybody that hates it, I hate that.
This is xenomorph. I think this game would be great if it was 1/4 the length of Alien Isolation. Alien Isolation is it's funny playing through Silent Hill 2 right now because it is suffering very much from Alien Isolation disease, which is every beat feels like it's lasting too long, and like the game is good and I enjoy it, and every area I'm in, I'm like, why are you're too long? Why isn't everything trimmed a bit? Like horror is not meant to be stretched over the course of this length. So,
but a AAA budget video game is.
I think that was the biggest complaint about Alien Isolation is actually that it was too long, and I bet they would agree with that. And also, because they didn't greenlight a sequel right away, even though it sold like 2.5 million copies, I'm guessing it's not going to get as big a budget so that they can keep the scope more in check, especially considering they lost $100 million on Hyenas. That would be my guess. I would wager that Sega's not giving this game a blank check.
Yeah, I'm just. Is there any example of a sequel that comes out this will come out 13 years after the original? This game probably won't come out until 27, 28. Is there any example of a sequel that took that long? No, it's not like it's been in development that long, but something that took that long of a break.
To get back to it, how well did Borderlands 3 sell?
I think very well. But like that series never really took time off. It was still like, here, we're going to do the pre-sequel. We're going to do, like, folks in the chat like mentioned Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts kept making games. Like, it wasn't like that the franchise went dormant. Alien Isolation has not had, I guess they had a VR mode, right?
It was modded in.
Oh, it wasn't.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember if they made it official or not.
Yeah. Like Crackdown 3 is a good example, and that's not even that long.
Stalker 2, I guess.
So
Stalker 2, yeah. Psychonauts 2 is a good example, and that came out, and that was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, well, that's the main thing to remember. Is like most of that core team that made Alien Isolation left after the game didn't get a sequel greenlit. Alistair Hope was the creative director of the original game, so I'm glad that he's back. That gives me more confidence in it. But yeah, I mean, like the people that wrote the story, a lot of the lead designers on it have all moved on, and a lot of them are working at that No Code studio, working on that new Silent Hill game.
Hell yeah, that's probably never going to come out. I really wanted to, but it's probably never going to come out. I also heard that the Xenomorph died since then, out of old age. It's been so long. Passed away in its sleep, surrounded by family.
So not the perfect organism.
Not
so
perfect,
but its family would be more xenomorphs, I assume.
Its family was more xenomorphs, correct. However, it was able to cast a mail-in ballot for the election, and so there's a lot of talk over should they still count the vote because they were alive when they voted, but passed away before the election. So that's how we're going to be following me. That's how we're going to be following the story from now on. I feel like I've gone insane. Like I feel like I forgot they were out of.
I even lost your train of thought.
The Xenomorph. I was trying to turn the Xenomorph into Jimmy Carter.
Alien IP. The Alien IP is getting a shit ton of attention right now, though, between FX,
the Noah Hawley show, and then the movie Romulus.
Aliens Fire Team.
Pulled the trigger for Sega.
Yeah. Well, Aliens Fire. Well, Disney. The license probably opened back up. Disney wants more games. But Alien.
Disney owns Alien.
Yeah, they own FX.
Fox.
Oh, shit. Oh, you are right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But Aliens Fireteam Elite is getting a sequel. And then that Aliens VR game is coming out soon, too.
There's an Aliens VR game? Do you get to be the alien? Do you see how big your tongue is?
No, it's basically Alien Isolation in VR. It looks like, but it's a new game.
Oh, well,
that's probably what you were confusing with Alien Isolation having a VR.
That was probably exactly and people modding it and it just making sense as a VR thing.
Speakeasy says people liked Fireteam Elite. Yeah, that game sold really well.
Did it?
That's a surprise. I did not realize that.
It was big on Game Pass too.
That makes sense.
I judge solely based on what are people in my timeline talking about, and they're just talking about the substance and Aaron Rodgers. Those are the only two things my timeline. I think I just purely, if I don't know a game's popular, it's purely my timeline.
Yes, Eric showing the VR game Alien Rogue Incursion, and I will be playing that game. So if you want to hear about VR games, I plan on playing that. I plan on playing Behemoth this year, and Metro Awakening. And there's one other, the Batman Arkham game. I plan on playing all 4 of those VR games. This is like the 1 year I think I've actually been excited about VR because there's some damn cool looking games coming.
It's about time.
Yeah, I know. I've only waited. I've only used my index 12 times, and I'm not going to use all this on my Quest 3.
I would love for VR fans to get a bunch of good games to play. I think that'd be great.
Yeah,
I think I'm sort of off the VR train, but I want everyone who is still on the VR train to enjoy their ride on the VR train.
It's a massive failed investment for most people.
Yeah. A couple super chats before we get to our main topic. Jewel Rao with a €2 dono. Thank you so much. Oh, I forgot to ask Casey, what are your favorite characters in ZZZ?
Okay, this question has probably 2 answers because by character, who do I like as a character, their personality and stuff, and then favorite character as in who do I use in my main composition. Right now, Jane Doe is my lead, and I pair her with Corin and what's the other one? They're all assault characters. I'm forgetting their names, which means
the first name is really Jane Doe.
Yes, she's okay. Undercover. She's undercover cop.
That makes more sense.
Name. If we know her name, then we got her family.
Does she also have a tail? Is that what Eric's showing?
Yeah, she's a mouse lady, of course. So or rat. She's a rat. Let me not get her whatever.
She's a rat. All right,
the better.
But that makes sense, right? Because she's an agent undercover in a criminal organization, and she's a cop. She's literally a rat.
Yeah.
But so Jane Doe's my main in my comps or whatever. But my favorite character is probably Anby, who's this really quiet, shy type who's kind of a ninja on the side, but also she has a weird fixation on old movies, and so I just find her characterization very adorable.
There you go.
That answers the question.
That was your weekly ZZZ. Your ZZZ minute.
Your weeb.
Starring, presented by KCCC. And then Nick Grumbles with a $2 dono. Thank you so much, Nick Grumbles. Marty, you are my Marty. Save me from the bad games. I need my own Marty. That's the problem. But Nick, that is a great segue, Nick Grumbles, into our main topic today, which is talking about the rising tide of very specific trends in indie games that is very noticeable in the current landscape, especially as we're combing through new releases, top sellers, the Steam Nextfest demos, and just sort of what genres we see kind of being cribbed ad nauseum. Some being cribbed in really effective ways, some that make us roll our eyes, and some that we need to wade through all the garbage from. So, Nick, what have you been as you've been checking out these demos and just Steam in general lately? What are the trends that you feel have been really popping up everywhere?
Man, the survivors and because people got confused when I made this thread. When I talk survivors, I'm not talking about survival games like The Forest or anything like that. I'm talking about vampire survivors games.
This genre needs a different name. Survivors
it does.
The genre is so confusing that you can explain it.
People call them bullet hells, but there's also
bullet heaven.
Or bullet heaven. Well, they also call them bullet hells. They call them bullet hell.
Bullet heaven. Bullet hell. That's wrong. Bullet hell called. Ikaruga's a bullet hell.
Yeah, stuff comes at you in bullet hell. Stuff comes out of you in bullet heaven.
I think bullet heaven is the right term.
Here's why I call it survivor genre, because every game that is doing it is called survivor something.
Survivors, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You can call them vampy scampies if you want.
Vampy scampies.
Yeah, it's anything that's like a vampire survivor.
So anyways, Yeah, I'm going through the Steam Nextfest demos, and like every other game I feel like is Survivors, like, or Skimpy, whatever we're gonna call it.
Yeah, Skimpy.
And there are franchises, I guess, that I wouldn't even expect to see this in, like Temtem has a Survivors like game.
Is that what that I saw?
It's called Temtem Swarm. Yeah.
Okay, so I saw the Temtem game on the list of like most downloaded Steam Next Fest demos, and I was like, interesting. I didn't download it or anything, but it's a Survivors like.
Yeah.
It's a Scamp. It's a Lampy Scampy. No,
Lampy Scampy.
Yeah, it's that. I just saw another one in my
the last Zenless Zone Zero update added a Survivors like in its arcade. Like there's tons of mini games in there. They added one of those in ZZZ.
Yeah.
So it is everywhere.
I'm waiting for a AAA game is going to try to do their take on it, right?
Yeah, it's probably been in the works for like the last 2 years.
Wasn't there a Deep Rock Survivors like?
There is a Deep Rock Survivors. Yeah.
I don't like that I said Survivors like. What am I doing?
Yeah, this indie developer that released this indie Metroidvania, which maybe Casey, did I have you do it for Hidden Gems once? It's called Dark Light.
No, that does not sound familiar to me.
Okay, well, it's a side-scrolling kind of indie Souls like. Yeah, he's making a 3D Survivors like using that same world and stuff. So like these games that maybe, and it's an interesting trend because like there are like a lot of low effort ones for sure. And when I brought that up, like I didn't want to say they're lazy because like making any game is hard. So I don't want to use that word, but I guess uninspired or just even cash grab sounds mean, but also like,
but it does feel like that.
Yeah, but also
where it's like, oh, this game is big, so let's just do that.
Yeah, but also if I'm an indie and I'm like, this is a cool genre that people really like, and I can take my game like maybe that didn't sell super well and turn into something like that sells like crazy, because that's what happened. To be fair, Deep Rock Galactic has sold gangbusters, but Deep Rock Survivors also has sold gangbusters. And if I was like, hey, I made Temtem and Temtem didn't sell very well, but if I can make this Survivors game in a year and sell it, and then it funds my next big project, who am I to judge on that?
Yeah.
But they are flooding the market. They are absolutely flooding the market, as
what
are...
was the name of that one? There was like an early access one we played. We streamed. I think it was like an early thing we streamed at Second Wind.
It was Death Must Die.
Death Must Die.
Yeah, that one was very much like Hades meets Diablo.
Which a lot of times these trend things are just like the elevator pitch is two popular things where it's like, oh, it's Balatro meets Hades. What are we doing?
Yeah. But I'm in like a weird spot because like the business head of mine like is like, yeah, this is smart. Like these things are probably not very hard to make. People love them right now, especially on handhelds. Like these things are just fun time wasting games. Why not make one and throw it out there? Why not? And then the other side of me is like, oh my god, you're all making these. Like free market decides what they want, I guess, but also like
I think that is the main thing, right? Like one of these things breaks out and becomes this massive hit, and so of course you're going to get copycats, like whether they have a good idea as a spin on it or they just want to chase the money. Either way, those copycats are like oftentimes make money, so like it reinforces it. So like eventually this will burn out, like as all things do, right? It's just it feels so pervasive in the indie space because a lot of these have a much faster turnaround, especially when it's something like Vampire Survivors that, like you said, was probably a very quick turnaround. So like you're gonna just see inundation with this sort of stuff very quickly. Whereas AAA, they do the exact same thing, but they all come out like in a batch every couple of years or so until we realize that they've missed the boat.
Yeah,
so,
and we talk about it in AAA all the time with the rise of open world games and the rise of the live service and hero shooters and extraction shooters or whatever. And so it's just interesting to look at like what sort of different genres are doing the exact same thing on the indie space.
What I do like about the indie space when they do chase trends, because of they don't take a decade to make the games, is like you kind of get to see the innovation happen in real time, which is it's just fun because like there's survivors likes that just do the base survivors like gameplay of surviving and getting your upgrades and doing that loop. and some of them do it way better than others. And then you get stuff like Death Must Die that adds in story mechanics a little bit and more interesting characters and loot. And then you get stuff like Deep Rock Survivors that adds in environment deformation and all that, so that you're not just running in a loop or avoiding objects. You're actually like deforming the map to create your own paths and stop things. And then I was playing that Hive Jump Survivors thing, and it's like, oh, you can lessen the amount of things on screen if you go after the hives. So they all add like these little incremental things, which makes me want to play a lot of them. I'm like, what is the one problem? I am part of the problem. Absolutely. Or is it even a problem? Like that? Yeah, like this. I would say this topic isn't breaking down a problem. Mm-hmm. I think it's just interesting to explore like the differences in trend chasing in indies, because like right now one of the trends in the AAA space, AAA space, especially in like the FPS genre, is people are chasing after that Valorant audience now. And so we have Valorant now? Yeah, because like I guess Valorant chased after Counter-Strike audience. So let's say Counter-Strike. A lot of developers are going after that Counter-Strike audience, and less of the Call of Duty audience. That
still seems like late.
It is very late. Yeah,
it seems like that seems like
it's very late. But if you look at before you really only had Counter-Strike that played like Counter-Strike. Now you have Valorant. That Spectre Divide game dropped. I've been playing the closed alpha of another FPS called Fragpunk, and like all of these have their own little innovations that come along with it too, even as an indie studio. So Spectre Divide has you can place your Fate character somewhere and then swap to it so that you can control both sides of the map. And then Fragpunk is actually using the deck building mechanic, where every map has like a different set of cards to create all these different variations of the gameplay. And so it's just like it's fun to see, like, all right, how can we take this concept, whether it's a Survivors like, it's a Balatro like, or whatever, and just add that little twist that makes it fresh and new again.
I mean, there's also I don't even know if you call them subgenres, like roguelike and deck builder. Mm-hmm. I don't at this point I almost don't consider them genres because it doesn't tell me what the game is. Mm-hmm. But I think there are elements that make sense. There's a reason we see them all across the indie spaces, because you're able to reuse the things they're very economical, right? You're able to reuse the things you make in different forms that extend the playtime of a game and increase user retention. So it like totally makes sense why you would be like, instead of just crafting 15 bespoke levels that people can complete and then maybe refund the game or whatever, I can create this thing that kind of gets them in a web and is constantly delivering new experiences, because you don't know what's going to happen every time you start a new round, which you've seen in the biggest games, from Balatro to Slay the Spire to Monster Train. I'm just talking about games I don't know and I don't like, which is wild. I think I'm right when I talk about them though, right? Like,
yes. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's like the whole allure, I think, of like the roguelike deck building genre right now, is like your build is almost different every run you have. And so you're constantly chasing that high of like, how can I get the most powerful build as I go? Yeah. It's the same thing in Balatro. That's like why Balatro to me is so addicting, is like, even after you beat the run, then it gives you the option to do the endless mode. It's like, how far can I go? Mm-hmm. It's an interesting place where like those genres are right now, because 3-4 years ago, if I saw cards in a video game, I'd be like, fuck that. I don't want anything to do with that. Like if I want to play a card game, I would go get a deck of cards. And now it's like it's a mechanic that like is so weirdly enjoyable, probably because of the randomness and stuff, and that stupid thing in our brain that's like, I gotta collect all those cards. Mm-hmm. Man, there's one game that I saw from a YouTuber the other day that I'm very worried about getting addicted to if I actually sit down and start it. It's basically a roguelike deck builder card collecting game that is called Isle of Swaps. And it basically looks like Pokemon if it was like a roguelike.
Some of these things just feel like scratch off. People are addicted to buying scratch off lotto tickets.
I mean, they are.
Like, I just don't like. I don't know. I just think it's just one of those things. It's just like, it just doesn't click with me.
Yeah, you don't seem to fall for really any of the indie
that got me yet either.
You don't really you specifically, Marty, don't really seem to fall for any of the indie trends that end up hitting.
Yeah, I like when it's like, ooh, this is something new. And that's when I like go gaga for something. I really loved Inscription a few years ago. And then
just hit Game Pass apparently.
Oh, nice. There's a demo I tried out, and I don't remember its name, which makes the story very bad, at the Steam Nextfest, which is so much like Inscription in that you are in a 3D space, you're trapped in this room by a spooky man, but then you can and there's puzzles in the room, but then there's also a video game in the room, and you play the top-down 2D video game, which can do things to impact the room you're in, and doing things in the room you're in can impact the 2D video game. You need to use the two of them harmoniously in order to solve the situation. And so, I'm even seeing we saw the rise of sort of those cozy-ish kind of short hike, almost let's distill Breath of the Wild down to its
micro open worlds, whatever.
Yeah, that Lil Gator game felt very much just like a short hike. I think a couple of the games that popped up felt like kind of that speed running, the bite-sized speed running of Neon White we've seen in a couple of games. We've seen the action, the one-hit kill action of Hotline Miami get cribbed. This isn't a new thing in indies. When an indie pops, a lot of people tend to try to
the post Hollow Knight renaissance, right?
Yeah
it's still going on.
Yeah. Which is funny because when in the gap between Hollow Knight and Silksong, so many other games are able to sneak in there and become kind of, again, not be as big of a hit as Hollow Knight, but take a little piece of the pie while the getting's good.
Yeah, speaking of sequels you wait a long time for if they live up to the hype.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the biggest indie sequel. I mean, we don't have a lot of big indie sequels, but that'll be the biggest one ever, right? I guess we have
Hades 2 might.
Yeah, which just got a big update today. I think Ben Starr is playing Prometheus or someone.
Yeah,
shout out Prometheus.
Yeah, shout out to Ben Starr.
Them too.
The two genres just absolutely flooding the market though right now have to be their Survivor, Vampire Survivor like games, and then the roguelike deck builders. If you even
wouldn't say survival crafting isn't in that pantheon of crowding the market.
It was.
It's been doing it for a while. I think you're referring to newer trends.
Yeah, well, I think it's slowed down because some of the we're not getting the deluge of indie ones that we were getting. That AA market has kind of started to take over that, I think, because I went Pow World to me is AA.
Sure.
Whatchamacallit, the
Once Human.
Once Human had a big budget behind it, but the Mary Poppins ones I'm thinking of.
There's a Mary Poppins one? There's a Mary Poppins survival crafting game.
You know who Mary Poppins is, Nick? I feel like you're using the wrong name.
She flies on an umbrella, right?
Yeah. Okay, never mind. I'm mistaken. You're talking about Mary Poppins.
I'm trying to remember the name of it, but it just got a big. It's just got a big update. I'm looking through our messages.
It's not actually based on Mary Poppins like Liza P is based on Pinocchio. It's just a character on an umbrella that you think resembles Mary Poppins.
It's got fantasy elements inspired by it.
I definitely feel like the cold medicines hit hard when you're oh no, the Mary Poppins survival crafter.
The Mary Poppins survival crafter.
Am I asleep?
Somebody tag me.
Is Freddy Krueger gonna get me? I was bummed because a Suika-like hit Steam Nextfest, and a couple people added me about it, and they said it's a Suika-like that is a roguelite, and it's called Steve's Warehouse. And I downloaded it, and it doesn't work on Steam Deck. And my thing for this Steam Nextfest has been I refuse to play any game on my PC. If it doesn't work on Steam Nextfest, it's not worth my time. Or if it doesn't work on my Steam Deck, it's not worth my time.
Oh, I remember the name of that game, Nightingale.
This is Nightingale.
Yeah. Well,
I remember Nightingale. Yeah, that was the one by the former BioWare folks, right?
Yeah, it's kind of. I think they said it was partially inspired by some of Mary Poppins stuff.
It's a Poppins-like. We're talking about Poppins.
I can remember.
We're talking about Poppins.
There's so many games.
Are there any? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I was just gonna name off more survival games.
No, are there any? Are there any games or genres or mechanics that you look at and you're like, I wish more people were trying to do that? Is there a market you think is underserviced?
Parry. I know Casey's going to say the parry-based games.
No, there's plenty of stuff that is making good use of the parry mechanic, and that's just a single mechanic as opposed to a whole gameplay style. But I would say, and Undisputed literally just released and is using it. But I would say analog stick 1-to-1 control of like combat, like because it was just Fight Night for a long time, and then it moved to UFC, which was the same people, and then 10-12 years of no one making any sort of new innovations with that. And then Undisputed.
NHL had
did it have like right stick control stuff?
Yeah, but it's so fucking shitty that every time I get in a fight, I always lose.
That's really funny.
But yeah, like the new innovations in that sort of control, I think would be cool for me.
Two of the genres that I've been seeing a lot more people start jumping into on Twitter for the games that I follow. One is vehicle combat games. There's quite a few of those that I'm keeping an eye on in development. One of them specifically is called Fume, Fume.
I remember that. I think someone played it for Steam Nextfest a little while ago and was
I showed it to you. It was like the car was like fighting like these massive bosses. I think one was just a glitch, but then people liked it so much he's like, maybe I'll put massive bosses in the game.
Keep a large boss, yeah.
Yeah, there's another one that's like a vehicle combat game that I've been watching that looks a lot like the Mad Max game, but just combat. And then Chris, I forget the guy that ran Avalanche Studios, not software.
Just Cause developer?
Yeah, the Just Cause developer. He's working on a action car combat game.
Kind of like Mad Maxy almost.
Yeah, something. He's shown off some footage, not anything official, but like some of the concept art they show looks really cool.
Yeah.
That genre I think is coming back, and then the genre that I want to see come back is like the action sports genre. Like NFL Blitz or NHL Hits.
Yeah.
Those genres that just...
The problem is it's hard to do that without a license. Like, without the license of the league. Like, there's an indie game coming out that is just NBA Street. And I saw it. It's in development now. NBA Street was amazing. It's not going to have any NBA teams. It's not going to have any players. And it's like, that seems kind of like a death knell for sports games in my mind.
What if?
What sports game has ever succeeded without the rights of their major league? Literally, I don't think any. I mean, Mario, but that's got Mario.
Did those succeed? They didn't keep making those.
Mario sports? What are you there with Mario?
I just made Mario.
I mean, no, there's basketball. There was golf. There was tennis. But like the gap between them was so long, and like. Do they do the thing where they do one per system?
They take 20. They're so meticulous that they take 20 years to make.
I feel like Mario Strikers did not do well.
What's that? What's that roguelike deck building hockey game that I was playing?
Tape to Tape.
Tape to Tape. That game's fun.
Why do I know the name of that game? I don't like hockey. I don't like roguelike.
Yeah, that game's good. Don't play it if you like hockey.
I don't have anything against roguelike. Don't tell anyone I have anything against roguelikes.
You can use it properly. I go back to thanking Dark Souls for getting me into that because I got okay with repeating the same stuff over and over again, as long as it like adds in some variation in differences. Because I still don't like grinding in Destiny.
It's funny when I look at some of my favorite genres ever are all back in vogue in the indie space. The sort of PS1, PS2 era horror game. We saw it with Signalis a few years ago. Crow Country came out earlier this year. We got Hollow Body. A bunch of games on Nextfest are sort of that real crunchy PS1 vibe of horror.
Have you tried that Be Crowned one yet?
No, I've Becrowned in Holston on my Steam Deck, ready to play. We'll see if they work. If they don't work, fucking into the bin. Into the bin. Colorful 3D character platformers. Sort of harkening back to the N64 era, where we get a lot of those, and then 16 RPGs that feel modeled after the 16-bit era. Obviously, Chained Echoes, Sea of Stars. There's that really sick ass looking one with the
Threads of Time.
Yeah, that kind of has a 2D HD look to it.
Oh my god, that game looks awesome.
That was revealed during an Xbox showcase a little while ago. So those are three of my favorite genres ever. And the fact that they're all being serviced, I think, is really neat. So Eric said Crow Country came out today on Switch, and it was $1 in your country.
Wow, that's a steal.
Look at
that! Look at that Threads of Time game. That game looks
it looks dope.
Fucking gorgeous. I cannot wait to see that. Also, there's like a T-Rex. He's fighting a T-Rex. Like that immediate sell right there. You put a T-Rex.
What if you play Chrono Trigger?
Was there a T-Rex in
age? Yes, because this game is just Chrono Trigger, where you go to every time period, and one of the time periods is 65 million BC. Nick, stop playing these games and play Chrono Trigger.
But
okay. You're off the podcast until you bring Chrono Trigger.
That's what you said about Portal 2, and I've been here the whole time.
You're off the podcast until you bring Portal 2.
I'm gonna go back and yell at people on Twitter.
Oh no! What have we done?
The other
John game. I'm sorry. I've not been paying attention to you guys.
Oh no! Yeah, the art looks incredible. It looks like even more spruced up Sea of Stars.
Yeah.
The one other genre that I know Jesse Glynn will be here to be happy about is the survival horror genre with dinosaurs. There are a ton of games coming out in that genre. Dinosaurs has become a big trend in indies. They're taking a long time to develop, but you have
nothing's really come out and been huge yet with dinos, right? It's always the promise of dinos.
Yeah.
Here's a funny one. Remember that Isle game I played? I think KC, you were on stream with me for that. It was that dinosaur MMO.
Maybe.
I think you're on stream with me for that. That game has sold so many copies. It has over 77,000 reviews on Steam.
Dude, people really like dinosaurs.
And there's also another one called Path of Titans. That's another dinosaur MMO. I don't know what the fuck you do in these games, because when I played the Isle, I just kept getting eaten. And the Path of Titans is also like that. You just live your life as a dinosaur, moving around and eating shit in trees. Like, what's the fun in this? But people love it. But yeah, in the survival space, like, you've got Deathbound on the way. You've got that Lost. Not Lost. Well, the one that Annapurna's published.
I was about to fall asleep and I got excited.
I forget what they gave it the title of now. And yeah, Deathground. That one. Project Survivor.
What kinds of games are these?
Project Ferocious. These are all like FPS, like either FPS or survival horror games that are focused on dinosaurs.
Whatever happened to Second Extinction? Like that was like a game.
Yeah,
preview thing for a while.
It didn't hold enough players, so they delisted it. And that was a good game.
I wouldn't know.
Well,
I did not.
You missed that opportunity, Eric. I completely agree. Give me a Tokyo Jungle game. I don't want just dinosaurs. Like, I'm gonna be honest. If it's just dinosaurs, kind of boring.
You either get dinosaurs or alien. Pick your poison.
No. I want Tokyo Jungle, which is all animals. Tokyo Jungle. Humans are gone, and you start off as a little Pomeranian, but then you could be all sorts of animals. You could be a tiger. You could be a cat. That tiger is a cat. You could be a deer. You can unlock a salary man.
I thought you said all humans. You lied to me.
No, salary man. There's one character you can unlock who's a salary man. He's very hard to unlock.
Salary man.
Yeah, just like a Japanese business.
Yeah, just a business.
Oh, guy. Okay.
Yeah, Tokyo Jungle is so fucking good. That was back when Sony had the juice. Sony's been juiceless since that game came out.
Since it's October, we're on a tangent, anyways. One monster that I feel like has never gotten its real due in a video game: Werewolf.
Yeah, there was that bad World of Darkness.
Oh my god, that game was awful.
Yeah,
that game wasn't great.
Jesus, I remember getting to check that out at E3. It would have been E3 2019, and no, I feel bad, but the developers like show me this game and they were hyped about it. Like this game's gonna be great, and I'm sitting there like, guys, oh no.
All I want from a werewolf game is for you to transform, and then when you transform back into a human, you just butt naked. Werewolf pour all your clothes.
How have we not gotten like a really good scary werewolf game? How is this not happening?
Werewolves are kind of whack, I think.
Have you watched Dog Soldiers?
Dog Soldiers?
Yes.
I do not expect anyone to name drop Dog Soldiers on this podcast.
I do watch movies sometimes. These soldiers basically get stuck in a house and werewolves come and try to kill them, and they were really well designed for the time.
Okay. But that sounds like a kind of a niche indie movie thing. Like I'm talking about like in popular culture, like werewolves are a popular like like universal monster, but like they don't seem to have the same.
It's the new movie's coming out next year. That's supposed
right.
to be pretty good. So I think that's going to bring the juice back. I think next year, 2025, year of the werewolf juice.
Isn't there another remake of the Wolfman coming again?
Yeah, Wolfman.
That last one with Benicio del Toro.
That one again?
Garbage.
No. It's just a Wolfman movie. It's a Universal Wolfman movie. So that made Benicio del Toro one. But that movie was garbage.
That movie was so bad.
The movie was garbage. And it was supposed to be like, remember they were supposed to make the dark cinematic universe?
That was part of that?
The Tom Cruise mummy movie.
Yeah.
That was talk about whack. That was real whack.
The best werewolf in any movie ever is Van Helsing.
All right.
You're welcome.
Like Hugh Jackman's Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch Werewolf by Night?
Did you watch that?
MCU thing?
Yeah, I did watch that. That wasn't scary.
It's only an hour long. Nice spooky. It's also got a cool man thing in it. Shout out to Man Thing, friend of the show.
Man Thing? All right.
Man Thing, yeah. It's like a regular thing, but he's a man.
I don't know what that means, but all right.
Tiffering in chat just brought up Dracula Untold. I was trying to watch that. It's a terrible movie.
It's not bad. Yeah.
It's Orlando Bloom, right?
No, that was I don't think it was Orlando Bloom. It was the guy who I think he played like either the human or one of the dwarves in the Hobbit movie.
Oh no.
Yeah. That's
oh yeah.
Luke Evans. That was
Luke
it.
Evans.
I believe he played the human. Yeah. I was gonna say shout out to the Hobbit, but no, those movies are bad.
Oh,
the Hobbit.
At least Charles Dance is in it.
Love Charles Dance.
He's good in any role they put him in.
He's great. He's great.
He immediately elevates a movie.
Shout out to Charles Dance. Died on a toilet. Not in real life. Tyrion Lannister shot him with a bow, when he was on his shitter.
He deserved it.
He did deserve it, but he was cool.
Do you think he shit himself when he got shot? He was sitting there a while.
It depends on shit yourself when you're on the toilet.
It depends on how far along he was.
How far was he? Yeah,
we don't know.
Was he mid shit? Was he pre shit?
He wouldn't have shit.
Was he post shit?
He would just shit.
Oh, okay. No, you're right. He would not have shit himself. You're right. Yeah.
If you're on the toilet, you don't shit yourself. You just shit. Shitting yourself means you've like shat in some article of clothing of yours.
Yeah, that is true.
Whether it's pants, shorts, maybe even your bed.
Maybe his gown fell under him.
No, you shit your bed if you do that in the bed.
True. Been there. Big old bed shitters. Fungus Finder with a $2 dono. Thank you so much, Fungus Finder.
Good name.
Are you feeling it now, Marty? I am. I'm going to be honest. I am absolutely feeling it now. I was kind of goofing before. I'm absolutely feeling it now. Inverse Skies with an $8 dono. Thank you so much, Inverse Skies. In the early 90s, pretty much every fighting game was Street Fighter 2 inspired. Doom clones was a term for a reason. There will always be trend chasing. Yeah, completely agree. To actually bring it up and put a bow on the topic. Yeah, that's nothing new in the AAA space and nothing new in the indie space, but it is just I don't even know if it's necessarily like it's kind of a bummer because it makes sorting through things tough. However, there is no shortage of cool original shit. It's just sometimes hard to find it at events like Steam Next Fest or just on a digital storefront because so many of the things that are just, it's the popular thing but different are the ones that bubble up to the top. So
yeah. The interesting one for me has been that Delta Force game because weirdly enough, there has been like nobody that has really gone for the Battlefield crown. And this game is such a Battlefield copy. It blows my mind. Doesn't have like the destructibility or anything like that. It's more like Call of Duty meets Battlefield a little bit, but like the game layout, I guess there is destructibility. I just haven't seen it.
Yeah, that clip just made you have to be a liar.
Yeah,
Eric had that queued up like I'm gonna
but the game, like the layout of the game with the way you take over points and everything is just Battlefield. So I guess if you're waiting for the next Battlefield and you want a new Battlefield, I guess this hits that itch. But it's like a genre that I think the indie space hasn't hit.
I mean, big production.
That's my thing is that genre feels like it needs a lot of money.
They're big productions, but like look at like all the mill sim games that are coming out, like Ready or Not and Ground Branch and all that. Like those games have a lot more depth than most Battlefield games would ever have.
Yeah, but Battlefield needs to be big explosions. I want to see that money on the screen.
The depth is like it's that, but condensed, right? Like Battlefield is such a big thing. Like I think that's hard. I think
Battle did it.
and you see what it looked like.
And then James Morgan with a $2 dono. Thank you so much, James. Among Us style werewolf game that actually exists in VR from Ubisoft. Werewolves Within.
Oh yeah.
Which to me the game is whatever, but the biggest thing about it is it spawned a movie, which I still think is the best video game movie ever. It is my favorite video game movie ever. Is Werewolves Within. It's a like a black comedy, but is like genuinely funny, and I highly recommend Werewolves Within to anyone. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, but I just dropped the trailer for it. I love this movie. I've seen it like 4 times.
Yeah, I just looked at Steam and found Project Werewolf. Definitely
not gonna be a good one.
Definitely not an asset flip where he's driving.
What are they asset flipping? Who's got werewolf assets? And why aren't they putting in games?
I don't know.
Who's hoarding werewolf assets? What are we before we break for the evening? What have you guys been playing or watching? I put this in here even before I started robo tripping. I haven't played anything new. And everything I watched that was new, I talked about yesterday on the Rewind. So I honestly don't have that much. I'm still finished Metaphor Refantasio. Thought it was great. I'm still plugging away at Silent Hill 2, which I talked about a little bit earlier. I'm enjoying, but everything is too long. So please just cut everything in half. And I'm slowly making my way again through Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which I think is delightful.
Nice.
So that's everything on my phone. Oh, and I watched episode 2 of Dan to Dan, which oh my God, episode 2 is even better than episode 1. I fucking love Dan to Dan so much.
I can't wait till more of it is out.
Just watch the opening,
like the opening.
OP.
Okay, yeah, I'm seeing people keep posting it to Twitter, and I keep skipping by it. I'm like, no, I want to experience it all on my own
with headphones in full screen. The opening to Dan is so fucking good. It is like one of the best anime openings ever. Can I say ever? Do you go to jail if you say ever?
I mean, I don't know. I've not seen it, so I can't weigh in. But that's high praise.
It's got almost 10 million views on YouTube. I'm putting it in here for chat. Watch this.
Yeah, like I keep getting it recommended to me. I keep seeing it on Twitter. I'm like, no, I'm not ready to watch it yet. I don't want to have to wait if I get sucked in and start watching the show.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm not a big week to weeker on anime, but if it means I get to see this opening every week, hell yeah. Yeah, but what about you guys?
Yeah, I've not been playing too much that I can talk about right now either, but I did get started on Neva, like the I can't remember what the name of the devs are, but the team that did Greece,
yeah,
Nomada
Studios. Yeah, like I started that because honestly, like I really like the look, like from that I've seen in trailers. Like it's just super beautiful art, and like you are bombarded with it as soon as the game starts. Like it got emotions out of me like very quickly because it's just super high quality, really stylistic artwork that they use. It's like big cutscenes, and then like the gameplay basically matches the style of those cutscenes exactly. So like I was pulled in immediately, but essentially it's like a kind of a cinematic-y action platformer. Very minimalist. Like there's nothing on the HUD, for example. You have like a pet dog that's with you, or a dog-like creature that's with you. And some of the platforming stuff involves the dog, not in like the dog helping you, at least not yet, because I'm still pretty early in the game. But like certain stuff like, he'll fail to like hit a jump. So you have to like go pet him, like nurse him back to help, and then like encourage him so that he can like get across a gap that he missed before, like help him up if he like comes too short, or he'll get trapped somewhere, have to like fight creatures off to like free him, whatever. So like, they really, at the very least in the beginning, they really like start selling this bond between you and this creature. And like, I really like it. Like everything is just so well animated, and like the music is phenomenal. Yeah. Like I'm all like, I've only played, I want to say like maybe an hour and a half, and I already want to search for the soundtrack to just have in the background. Cause like, God, it's good. Like really, really good.
Yeah.
So like, I'm really excited to keep going. Oh, did it? Okay.
No, it says going to win awards.
For sure. Like, so yeah, I'm really excited to keep going with it because like it's been like really, really pleasant so far. I'm hoping it's no longer than like 2-3 hours or something.
Without giving away, Jess Hoops is doing our bite sized on it. I edited her script earlier today, and I think I could say she's positive on it, and she said it was about 4 hours.
Okay, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Yeah. Like, yeah, because this sort of thing lives and dies by brevity. Like it's hitting you with like very strong, impactful emotion, and like you just need to get out of that as soon as you hit the points you want to hit. So I'm really excited to keep playing.
Yeah, God, it looks so fucking good. My thing is, I just want to replay Grease before I play this because I haven't played Grease in a long time.
I never played Grease. Should I play Grease?
I never played Grease because it looked too simplistic gameplay for me.
Yeah, that's what I heard about it.
Incredibly simplistic. Yeah.
This feels like more of a game in that, from what I've heard.
Yes, in the rude boy definition of game. Not like rude boy like Rihanna.
Like Rihanna's rude boy.
We need more rude boy likes.
But I think that's all for me. Yeah, I've not been watching anything new either. Still working my way through Ninja Kamui.
Hell yeah. What you
and Monk.
Monk.
Yeah, me and my fiance has been binging Monk.
The main thing I've been playing is a driving simulator. I've had to go back to Nebraska so many times. But
you're not simulating anything. You're actually driving.
It feels like I'm simulating when you get on the highway and it says drive 156 miles in that direction. Okay.
What do you listen to when you do this?
I've been listening to Sacred Symbols quite a bit. I really like. They do something I brought up about possibly doing for our podcast is they do a lot of write-ins at the start, and so like they actually put out a thread before the podcast goes live and people write in, and so they spend like, obviously we're not going to do a 4-hour podcast, those guys are crazy, but the write-ins end up leading into some very interesting discussions. One of them was like how they once I heard this story about how somewhere there was like a elephant hung somewhere. It was weird.
Hung like
yeah,
hung to death, or
hung to death. Dick. And it's like
who said that?
I gotta remember
this podcast.
Mary, an Asian elephant, was hanged in Irwin, Tennessee in 1916 after killing her handler Walter Red Eldridge. This is a story I learned about by listening to Sacred Symbols, and it was wild.
What to do with like Squinty's What's Going On?
Yeah. So,
isn't that a video game podcast?
Yeah.
Isn't this a video game podcast?
Yeah. They have some interesting write-ins.
That hurt my head a lot.
But yeah, Tennessee apparently hung an elephant at one point, and there's like a...
Not surprised, though.
Apparently there's a statue in remembrance of it out there.
In remembrance of the elephant who was wronged, or in remembrance of...
Yeah, the elephant that was wrong.
Like justice for that elephant.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I've been mostly just because I've been traveling so much, I didn't really have time to get locked into another single player game. I started Silent Hill 2, but we talked about that last week. But I did go back. I have been going back to The Finals, that game from Embark Studios, which is the kind of game show extraction shooter. They just released the 4th season, and like the game was kind of teetering for the first 3 seasons. Like people liked it, but like it wasn't there yet. They hadn't really found their groove. And then season 4 came out, and people have been really hyped about it. So I finally jumped back in, and oh man, like I don't really know what they changed. I think the time to kill is a little bit shorter. They balanced a lot of the weapons and stuff, and it just feels really good to play now. And like I got hooked immediately as like a new competitive game for me to stick with for a while. The new map is a lot of fun. They've done some like pretty creative maps with like this kind of Japan inspired one, but this one's going back to like that kind of original style that they had. It was like kind of Mirror's Edgy looking, is what I would describe it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really know all what they fixed, but something about the game just feels better than it did when we probably last played it by a long shot. And the player count on it's been pretty much exploding. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Glad to see that it's not fading away. I always like seeing a new player in the game be able to.
Mm-hmm. You know what? That's
like it's good for everyone.
Yeah. There's a lot of FPS games that are like playing in the background that just don't get the attention on social media, like Call of Duty and stuff like that. But The Final is one of them, and the other one I've been playing a lot of again is Hell Let Loose. I always go back to that game every once in a while. It's a big time commitment to play one of those matches because they can go on for like an hour. But there is just no other game on the market right now that immerses me like that game does. And so like I hadn't played it in a while. They released a Utah, like a D-Day map a long time ago. but I hadn't played it. I only played it one time, and I was just getting murdered on the beach like you'd expect. So I kind of dropped it, but this time I stuck with it. And the people that get into the role play of that game are fucking hilarious. Like this guy running up the hill gets his leg blown off, and you just hear in the background, "My leg!" It's so funny. I try to record
modern day Civil War reenactors. Instead of going out into a field wearing like wool uniforms, they're doing this.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. It was like these 40-year-old men just screaming at each other. I'm saying, I have to return to my wife. It's just such a unique gaming experience that I feel like you just don't get. I don't know what filter Eric has on me. I'm looking out of a car, but if my seat's facing the wrong way, I'm probably not going to last very long in that car. That game and the finals are just two of those FPS games. Like right now, like really delivering on unique gaming FPS experiences again, and it's just like fresh. And that's one of the topics for Unpacked I want to explore at some point. It's just like we need the return of like SandBox FPS games again, because I feel like they've been so structured, so competitive, and not just about fun. And I especially thought about that with Halo being in the conversation again. Like the best days of Halo 2 and 3 are just custom games and fucking around with your friends.
Yeah.
And there aren't really many games like that anymore that aren't just like, grind to get the skin.
I think Halo Infinite's gonna be the one to do
it. Yeah. I'm writing that script right now, and I totally forgot that they like openly committed to a 10-year plan for that game. That ain't happening.
No, I think they hit about 2 years.
I don't even think they hit 2 years.
I think
I'm trying to find a way to write in. Please stop calling your any game Infinite. It's just a death knell.
When did Infinite launch? Was it 2? It wasn't
2020,
2 years ago, right?
2022 or 2021. Yeah, December 2021.
Okay, so
Still being supported, but it's definitely not like
depends on what you say living is.
Yeah, their seasons ended after like 6 seasons, I think.
There you go. Thank you, Halo. Thank you, Father Halo.
The final thing I started was The Penguin on HBO Max last night.
You just watched the first episode?
Just first episode. Immediately hooked though, because they put on that great Batman theme. And as soon as I hear that thing, I'm like, I'm in there.
Giacchino.
Yeah.
But that's Batman's theme. Penguin doesn't get his own theme?
He gets his own theme. I will say the tone, like, I was expecting the tone of the show to be dark because it's the Penguin and all that. It's a crime show.
I mean, the Penguin's not like a serious.
You haven't seen this. You haven't seen this version.
No, I know they're going for like a much more gritty thing, but like,
this is like HBO level grit, like dropping F-bombs every 5 minutes and stuff. It almost feels weird.
Swinging peen.
Yeah, I'm like, what is the
swinging peen?
Yeah. I was like, I mean, there's boobs and everything in the first episode. I was like, what is the next Batman gonna look like? This dude's gonna be killing some people.
The most recent episode's really good. Episode 4.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to it. But yeah, I think maybe they're taking some inspiration from those College Humor Batman videos for this.
No, I promise you they're not.
I don't think so. You're the only person who watches those videos. You've been single-handedly paying their rent. No, they're taking inspiration from The Sopranos and The Wire. That's what they're taking inspiration from.
Speakeasy says Logan did it too, but yeah, Logan wasn't like it was a sequel, but it was its own thing. Like this is a direct continuation of the Batman movie. And so I'm like really wondering about what the tone of the next Batman is going to be like and how like
it's not gonna. Like the movie will still be PG-13.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, this like never been a rated R Batman, right?
No.
I don't maybe on YouTube.
Maybe like some of the animated ones that have come out, like Joke or something.
I'm gonna look that up because like even most of the animated ones I've seen, they're generally pretty tame.
Yeah.
But maybe Killing Joke, because that one was a little different.
Yeah, no, just like obviously I don't know how this series is going to end or anything, but if the Penguin is in the
breaks into the zoo and he marries a penguin, that was in the Pokemon leaks.
Yeah, I was going to say he read the Pokemon lore. It's like
Ozcobb breaks into the zoo. I don't like the fact that they changed his last name from Cobblepot to Cobb because they said Cobblepot was unrealistic. I'm like, listen, guys, you know who's unrealistic? Batman.
Like, did they still call him the Penguin in it?
No, well, it's like a derogatory term because he's like, he's like got a limp and some scars.
Yeah, they show off his foot in the first episode. Oh my god, it's gross.
Some people got weird feet. I'm not here to judge. This is a safe place for feet.
That foot came right out of the Pokemon
Jesus
War
Christ, Eric! You can't pop that without a warning.
Why?
What is this foot?
So Killing Joke is rated R.
Yeah.
Why would you do this?
No Grand Elf, though. No one's a Grand Elf. Last couple of super chats before we wrap up. Thank you. Those feet are much nicer. LXSXL. Jesus. LXSXL, which is a very hard name to say, with a $5 dono. Thank you so much. Going back to what we were talking about. Folklore, Untold Legends, El Shaddai, the PS3 era had a ton of unique gems that are underappreciated. I completely agree.
I don't know if that's in response to though.
Fucking bring those. I think maybe when I got all about Tokyo Jungle instead.
Tokyo Jungle.
But yeah, there was just hella great games from that generation that I would love to see make it come back. Rain, Puppeteer, fucking Infamous. El Shaddai came back recently. 3D Dot Heroes.
I'd be interested in New Prototype, yeah, good stuff. The tracking guard games that are kind of locked to that generation. So
how was an indie studio not picked up Prototype and just made?
Or just any like that Hulk Ultimate Destruction, like just I own this city and I can destroy it, like that sort of thing.
It takes money. I think like a lot of these genres kind of take a little bit of money.
It's easy to make games; they don't cost much.
I think it's difficult to make games, to be honest. Anixia, been in the Green Gang for 6 months. Thank you so much, Anixia. Happy 11 months, gang. Thanks for everything you do. I feel like you've not been in 6 months. I don't know why it says 6 months for me, but happy 11 months to you, Anixia. And for our 1 year anniversary, which will be coming up next month, stay tuned. Possibly some very exciting events. A month from today, we'll have lots of news on that. Fat Cock with a $2 dono. Thank you so much. No. With a great point. Order 1886, best werewolf game ever.
You are not wrong.
There are werewolves in that game.
The whole game is about.
Did you not? I just assume you didn't play it because yes, there's werewolves.
I've not played 18 Order. I've not played the Order. No,
that game. God, I still don't mind that game, but the werewolf fight, which is just you clicking the slash button and going around in a circle, was the most disappointing thing I've ever faced in a video game. Like, this is the coolest fucking werewolf, and I don't really get to like play a horror game or fight it or anything. Whoa, and now Ready at Dawn is gone. They shut down a few months ago.
RIP Ready at Dawn.
Dang.
So Nixie, the reason it said 6 months is because the way I handle super chats is I copy and then I paste them in a doc, and I paste them by like right clicking and removing all like the formatting and everything. And for some reason, it pastes the number of months in your symbol. It's very strange. Anyways, you're very weird. You're wonderful. James Morgan with a $2 dono. Thank you so much. Look up Topsy the elephant. Edison was a jerk. So I know about this elephant. This elephant was electrocuted at like a World's Fair. I've heard hashtag Edison might not have been involved in it, and it was a besmirching campaign. I don't know. I'm not. Maybe I'm in the pocket of big Nikola Tesla, but I'm not here. Listen,
yeah, it was like some big Tesla between.
I mean,
because Tesla wanted like free electricity for everyone, and
Edison was charging folks. Yeah.
Electrifying the elephant and hanging.
Well, they're both bad.
They're both bad. The elephant got like electrocuted in front of like a crowd. Like that was bad. It was really bad.
I'm pretty sure the elephant got hung in front of the crowd.
Yeah, probably.
That's what they did back then.
Back then in Game of Thrones times.
I used to live right by. I'm sorry.
Oh no, sorry. I was just yelling. Abdel Corral is his name.
I would say like I used to live right up the street from the Edison Museum, but never once went in. So I cannot verify if that's in there.
Do you think people ever drive their Teslas into it?
They should.
Freedom for Nikolai.
Is he in jail?
Nikolai Tesla? No, he's
you said freedom for Nikolai from the crypt.
I'm not sure why I said that. No, I don't think he was ever arrested. Abdel Corral has been a member for 11 months in the Green Gang. Thank you so much. Congrats on the 11th anniversary, guys. Thank you so much, Abdel. And Eric, been a member for 11 months. Yeah, 11 months. Hey. Hit by Nick for being a member, but I really wanted the emotes. You know what?
Smack your nose.
We forgive you there. And that does it for us for this episode of Firelink. Casey, what do you got going on? What should folks check out? You and I will be back tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. Central, for more Metroid Prime. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to watch the very end of the last stream because I enunciated things I wanted us to remember, and I don't remember them, but I'll watch the end of that stream, so I will remember it.
That's a good tactic, though, to just say stuff at the end of streams.
I did the same thing with Jamate's Resident Evil 7 stream tomorrow. I did the same thing at the end. I said, this is what we need to do next week. X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
And I'm just going to watch that. Oh, my God. That's great. That's all smart.
It's good idea. As for me, you can find me all over the internet at Sigma Gears 9. What is going on this week? Regular streams. I don't think I have any video content coming out soon, but next week you might get some bite-sized reviews from me, as well as maybe our completed Nextfest video, which I think I'll be handling the edit on. So just keep an eye out for that. Of course, new adventure is not new, but remastered Adventures 9 on the weekend. Me and my fiance playing Dredge on Friday nights, as well as Super Smash Sunday on Sundays. Last Sunday was a whole lot of fun. You guys missed out. We talked about Solid Snake having braids. it was a great time. So join us for that stuff.
Cultural appropriate, like braids.
pretty much. It was a fun time. But I think that's it for me. What do you guys got?
I'm just thinking about Solid Snake.
Next week, I'll have a new episode of Unpacked Up going over the Halo Studios news, which, by the way, their new logo real bad. But
I haven't even seen it.
Oh, it's I really don't like it. But anyways, lots of interesting stuff there. If you like the Ubisoft video, kind of going over how they got there and where they're going next and all that, I'll be covering that quite a bit. And then this Saturday, we are going to be doing we'll be doing a game night stream. It may be during the day because J-Mate and Jess will be there. Jess Hoops. But we'll be playing this game that's been kind of going viral lately called Liar's Bar. So it should be a good time. I know Eric really enjoys it. So Eric might be there too.
TV's Eric?
Yeah. Oh, and then next week on Tuesday night, I'll be doing my horror game playthrough, starting up that new A Quiet Place game, which I'm very concerned about now because it comes out in 2 days and no reviews have come out. And
it's probably going to be a piece of shit.
Yeah, if it's a piece of shit, we'll probably still play it. And we'll see.
That'll be fun.
There you go. Then just the streams I mentioned. We got Resi 7 at noon tomorrow, Metroid at 7 p.m. And then at noon on Friday, Tina, Jamate, and Jess will be streaming a little bit of Night in the Woods, which is like Halloween adjacent. It's got cozy October vibes.
I mean, it sounds Halloween-y.
It is. That's one of the scariest situations to find yourself in is being in a night in the woods.
Yeah.
And then before we wrap up, Darwin's Dummy, been a member for 11 months as well. This must be just the 11 month, like the day, 11 months from the day that we did. It is the day. Yeah, Marty discovered, quote, notes. Give this man a Nobel. The problem was I didn't take the notes. I just verbalized the notes. I'll have to remember to go back to the ends of the stream.
Yeah, that is actually worse than just writing notes.
Yeah, I made a huge mistake. So thank you all so much for joining us today for this episode. If you are watching live, if you watch the VOD on YouTube, listening to any podcast service of choice, we always appreciate you tuning in, especially when we're feeling a little under the weather and we just devolved into the death of several elephants. R.I.P. Topsy and whatever the name of Nick's dead elephant was. So for Nick, Casey, and Eric, this was Marty. This was Firelink episode number 41. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesdays, and we'll see you all soon.
Bye, y'all.
The elephant was known as Murderous Mary.
Well, it sounds like she had it coming.
It was just Mary. Don't besmirch the name of a dead elephant.
Google it. It's Murder Mary.